everyone, it's Libby from Meister Tarot. I'd like to acknowledge the Warramai First Nations people, that's W-O-R-I-M-I, and welcome to you, your guides, my guides in the universal energies. Only took however many years and I've finally got my little entertainment-only card stuck up behind me so it can stay on during the entire video. Okay, a lot happening. What do I want to have a look at? Well, India and the European Union have come out, and after 2 decades, 20 years of negotiations, this has been going on since 2006, they have announced a free trade agreement between the EU and India, which takes into consideration 1/3 of the world trade and 2 billion people. So this is what's happening with the art of the deal, or the fart of the deal, is that countries are going elsewhere to do their trade. China's also announced that it'll actually be buying soya beans from Brazil again, and that it is in negotiations for deals with both Canada. They've announced a big trade deal with China, and so has the UK, currently in talks with China as well, with Starmer going to go and visit China, the first time a British Prime Minister has done so in 8 years. So not looking terribly good for the economy of the US in regards to all this that is going on. China's also come out and said the Orange Twerp's Board of Peace, we know who's pocketing that $1 billion joint fee, cannot replace the UN, especially when you're talking about a Board of Peace that is pretty much made up of dictators. So that doesn't sort of bode very well for peace. But what I want to have a look at, actually, I'm going to have a look at the Board of Peace and the World Trade. The Orange Twerp apparently has come out as well and is warning Iran that time is running out for a nuclear deal. I'm pretty sure that what he spun was that they were sending the US military to Iran to look after the protesters. Pretty sure there wasn't anything about a nuclear deal that was in that declaration originally. So again, the story is changing there as well. So as I split the deck to start shuffling, and I'm using the Golden Universal Tarot, we have this devil energy. It's an arrogance, it's a greed, it's a expecting everybody to fall into line with them. It's a narcissism. It's just a horrible, devilish energy. But we're left with the page holding the coin, the singular coin. It's almost like going, what happened? Now, Amazon's also come out, apparently put off another 16,000 jobs overnight. Oh, bravo to the Dems in Minnesota. Two Dems won special elections, and now the state house apparently is equally divided. Yeah. What have we got here? Rash action and howling at the moon, and then simply disappointment in what's on offer. And this is me talking about the US with trade. Charging in like a bull at a gate. Again, today the tariffs are 50%, but tomorrow I'm putting them up to 100, and then the day after, if you be nice to me, they might go down to 75. It's just this chaotic strategy, charging in. It's lunacy at its finest, and we've got here disappointed in the outcome with that Four of Cups. So where am I going with this? As pointed out, I was on Hogarth in the chat this morning. Hogarth, Lena, Lady G, and Sheila from Celtic Tarot. And they were talking about, what were they talking about? The stock market in the US is basically being underpinned by AI. And when that AI bubble bursts, which it will, because AI at the moment isn't actually income producing, I can't remember which one it was that swore black and blue this time last year that they were never going to put ads onto their AI function, and back down last week and said, "Oh, we're going to put ads on it," because there's literally no income coming from AI. It's a bit like Facebook used to be back in the day, when it was actually just people having a chat and family getting together and having a chat. Oh, speaking of which, yes, I do have a Facebook page. It's a closed group, Master Tarot. Um, I do feel a bit mean, but if you've been on Facebook for 2 weeks and are on got 135 groups that you're in, I'm sorry, I'm not going to approve you. I'm sorry if that you are genuine, but just as a quick method, if you've been on there 16 years and you're a member of 30 groups, yeah, great, go for it. But if you've been on there for 2 days and 175 groups, then sorry, you get declined. Okay, but what I want to have a look at, okay, let's have a look at, well, where do I even go? US economy. The US economy. Well, there's Russia and there's the mercenary. This is also expansive, but this can be the Knight of Pentacles can be bringing forward information about the economy that has stalled. Tis my Russia card, but can also be about the abundance and about the birthing of something new. But yes, the economy pretty much, I would say, in the US is in recession, if not teetering on depression itself. So just be aware of that. There will be a lot of it, people like us who are adaptable and can pivot, and we look after community, but there will be a number of people that will really struggle because they are not empathetic, they're not compassionate, and they can't deal with change. And I've got two cards that have flown out, and one is strength and one is new journey. This is very much about empathetic strength, compassionate strength, taming the beast as well. So taming the those that are of this, if I say toxic masculinity energy, are going to find themselves tamed because we are on this new journey. Okay, when I say tamed, let me just put it another way: taken down a peg or three. Okay, so let's have a look at the US economy. Oh, there's a few things I actually want to cover in this. So I'll do the US economy. I will do the Board of Peace, and I will do the Orange Twerp threatening Canada that if they don't buy the US fighter jets, that the US is going to invade. You can't force another sovereign country to buy your product. Let me just put it that way. So let's have a look. Let's have a look. The US economy. What do we need to know about the US economy? The US economy. Otherwise, I'll be doing about 6 readings today, and I don't want to do that many. Okay. I'll just move you back a little bit. So, unpleasant news coming out. Stinky fish news. That's being presented. So pages are about new energy. They're about bringing forth information, not as intensely as the Knights do, but they're presenting something new, and it stinks to high heaven. So the economy just not looking good. It's an unexpected message that's also going to come out. I mean, they can claim all they like from the media platform and at the White House that everything's hunky-dory and it's the best economy ever, but those that are actually at the coalface, paying for their groceries, paying for their fuel, find themselves, again, one of 16,000 of Amazon being laid off. They weren't the biggest paid, but it was a job. Yeah, it's a real wake-up call what is happening in the economy at the moment, and it's unpleasant, and there will be people that do not want to deal with it. Okay, challenged by the authoritarian messaging that's coming out. So this is the reality. Is that all? You know, rotten fish. All is not good in as it seems. Being told a completely different message. Obviously, you're not trying hard enough. Obviously, it's all your fault. Basically being told it's their fault is what I'm getting there. Yeah, there's the Emperor. The energy it's stewing in at the moment is the my way or the highway Emperor energy, dictatorship energy, authoritarian energy. But I mean, dictators even themselves don't deliberately destroy the economy of a country. They want the economy to do well so that they can gripple in more. But um, this guy has no clue. I was reading this morning that he was ranting on about that the US dollar has dropped to an all-time low, which is great because it means interest rates will go down. That's not how it works. When the dollar goes down, the interest rates go up because you need more dollars to make up the same amount to purchase something. You know, so for example, if you've got a rock that was worth $10 and the value of the dollar goes down, well, the rock's still there, and now all of a sudden you've got to find $15 to buy the rock. So interest rates go up. He has no clue. Ugh. And being told by Ron Navarro, who apparently wrote these the best-selling books that he's quoting, not best-selling, he wrote them under a pseudonym. It's just unbelievable. Anyhow, right. It's all about smoke and mirrors, delusion, poor choices in the past. And I suspect the fog is clearing in regards to that. Poor choices, choices based on greed and power and lust for money and all the rest of it. It's in the past. The fog of this delusion is lifting because reality is really starting to bite. But this was the delusion. It's the ones who are going, oh, but they're sending us a $5,000 Doge check, and oh, we're going to get a $2,000 tariff check. Ask them where their checks are. How's that money going? So anyhow, mutter. Yeah, okay. And then you've got this Page of Pentacles again, looking at the diminished finances. Oh boy. Okay. Apparently Melania opened the stock market yesterday or something, and it was an absolute bombed. Nobody applauded. Nobody cared. It was just an absolute nightmare. And talking about bombing us, I put it in my post section. Apparently Vanity have reviewed the movie, and their comment was, if they show this movie on aeroplanes, people will walk out. It was that bad. But yeah, looking at this diminished economy. The immediate future, we've got the High Priestess, secrets being revealed, the mystery being revealed, is no longer hidden. So yeah, they can't spin it any longer. The reality is, and they can't spin it any longer. This is why the Orange Twerp wanted to remove Jerome Powell from the Fed chair, because the Fed chair sets the interest rates, and he wanted the interest rates to drop. And Jerome Powell's like, no. If the economy dictates that interest rates need to be X, they will be X. That's why he wanted to replace, because Jerome Powell wasn't doing what the Orange Twerp demanded he do, which was falsify dropping interest rates. Okay. Externally, we got the Page of Swords. Young people on social media talking about this reality that they are facing. Can also be a whistleblower coming forward, and internally we've got this tower moment. Can also be trying to bring forward a new strategy, but it's a diminished strategy. No, not going to work. It's not going to work. They can try and it's like how they're trying to spin the ice murders. Yet we can all see with our eyes how they actually went down. And for those that didn't believe it with Renee, they were presented with Alex. You cannot spin that. Anyhow, okay, hopes and fears. The oligarchical money, the ending of a legacy, the old having to give way to the new in regards to money. It's all about money, 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 and the oligarchs, I think, are not going to be happy. And I'm talking about the Bezoses, etc., of the world. What do you invest? $75 million in a movie that has sold about 5 tickets worldwide. Okay, let's see where this goes. Oh, 2 tens. If you think you can't be stabbed in the back anymore, here's another one. It's going to hit a lot of people really hard. Those that are not paying attention, those that aren't aware, those that haven't built their communities and their networks to be able to weather this, it's going to hit them. The truth of it is going to hit them really hard. We've got the ones, where the federal employees, we've all heard the stories, who voted for the orange twerp, and then 2 months later they're out of a job, but he promised he wouldn't. And excuse me, like, what were you listening to? It's very much told you so, but we can't say told you so because they're finding out told you so. It's going to hit some really bad, but it's also, I hate to say, the economy's just going to, I got the word free fall. Okay, Four of Wands, some sort of announcement coming out of the White House to try and manipulate with the magician. Look over here, this is going brilliant, rather than looking over there. But there is going to be no denying it with the Nine of Wands. Looking overseas with that Two of Wands, trying to come up with a new plan, perhaps new trade. It's going to be too little too late is what I'm getting there, because the rest of the world has moved on. It's going to be a lot of news come out very quickly. Make sure you have your finances in order, your money in what is considered a safe bricks and mortar bank. I believe there is something that you can look up in the US about your credit rating. Or the bank's credit rating, to see whether it's one of these fly-by-nighters or whether it actually has the ability to weather this. But yeah, I would just say do not buy anything that is unnecessary at the moment. There's going to be some volatile news that comes out that's going to, with that Three of Swords, going to hit a lot of people really hard. Certain people are going to feel betrayed. Just anguish. It's going to be hard. So I'm just putting it out there. Just make sure your house is in order. The farmers are going to feel betrayed because China's announced, well, doesn't matter what the US does now. They've now got an agreement with Brazil. Farmers are going to look at things differently. They're going to have to do a lot of soul searching and introspection with the Four of Swords and the Hanged Man. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay. I'm not going to have a look at the India EU deal because it's now it forced this into fruition. Yeah, we've got this ending card, death card, King of Swords coming out with a new strategy perhaps, but it's not going to work. I suspect now they could take the Chinese tariffs down to zero, and I don't think it would make a figure difference. Okay, let's have a look. China has said 45's Board of Peace cannot replace the, yeah, what's happening? Huge wake-up call. Huge wake-up call. And a collective awakening across the world. And there's that hanged man card wanting to show itself again. Things, just world trade being viewed differently. So let's have a look. The Orange Twerps, Board of Peace. What do we need to know? This is still talking about the money. Homeland Security and justice. Actions having consequences. Big stick. Strength. Tower. Okay. Right, I was thinking this was more money because this is the first card, but no, I think this is the Board of Peace. There are those that support it with that Three of Cups, but it's going to be sheer lunacy with that Moon card. So this Board of Peace, it's forcing countries to have a look at their security and their security pacts that they have throughout the world. And I have seen, I mean, we've got Mark Carney coming to Australia in March, and I have read on it before, and I suspect there will be like a southern version of NATO. So you've got the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. There's going to be some sort of like South Pacific Treaty Organization that will have links with NATO. And it may be Australia, New Zealand, couple of the Southern Asian countries, couple of the South American countries, whoever it is, it's forcing governments to look at how they trade, or countries, how they trade, who they trade with, and who their alliances are with. This is the Justice card. It's about divine justice, but it's also weighing the scales, coming up with new strategies and actions having consequences, accountability. So what's happening is this regime, for the first time in a lot of their lives, they're actually being held accountable. New plans, big new plans. I'm going to say the lion lying down with the lamb. Even though it's no lamb in that one, in the Lightseers Tarot, it is a lion and a lamb. Unlikely alliances that bring strength, and it's going to be disastrous for this Board of those involved in this Board of Peace. It's not going to work. You've got the Three of Cups, though, and the Insanity card, being forced to backpedal and retreat, as you've got this these other nations creating this. I'm just going to say it's just the orange twerp feathering his own nest, actually, because that's one of the meanings. My meanings for this card. It's almost like they've got a gang going where they're having to pay the gang leader. And what's in it for me? Oh, nothing, pretty much. Yep. Isolated. Oh gosh, these are awful cards. So how's this Board of Peace going to go? Finding themselves restricted, legally restricted, unable to move, legally also strategizingly restricted. They've decided to join this. You've got this Three of Swords, the betrayal, and the Four of Cups, Ace of Swords, and then the infighting. So there's going to be this huge truth that comes forward, and then it's every man for himself. And you've then got this diminished stinky fish messaging coming forward. It's manipulation, but it's bullying, betrayal, win at any cost. So magician and five of swords. It's not going to go. It's just not. Um, those that are involved, it's like they're going to blow smoke up each other's backsides at the same time that they're getting their pockets emptied. And what happens after that? You end up with you're out of smoke and you're out of money. So there's nothing in it for them. Nothing in, there's this agreements, the emotive agreements, but it's going to end poorly with the stinky fish. Okay, so what I want to have a look at very quickly is, the orange twerp is threatening that he's going to invade Canada. Speaking of which, he's now threatening, as I said earlier, he's threatening that they will attack, what was it? A felon warns Iran, time is running out for a nuclear deal as the US military builds up in the Gulf. Hang on, weren't they there to protect protesters or something? There was nothing that was about some nuclear deal. Like, no, it was about please. Okay, so what am I looking at? Threatens Canada that if they don't buy the US fighters, in other words, they go for the Swedish Gripons instead, which apparently are better suited to the cold conditions, but also they get built in Canada and they get maintained in Canada. Apparently the US ones get built in the US and they pretty much have to be maintained in the US. So Canada doesn't really own them or has no control over their ownership. They are reliant on another country to maintain their fleets. So show me about what's going to happen. Okay. Now, I did read on this a while back, and I did get that they were probably going to go with the US fighters. But let's have another look. Things change. Energy changes. We're in a different time. Are Canada going to go for? Who's Canada going to go for? Now, I'm going to leave that card there because that's actually popped out when I was thinking in my mind about the actual threat. So how's this going to go? Walking away. Walking away. The military walking away. Harsh truth walking away. And his Carney, the diplomat, ending, retreating, and betrayal. Yeah, I don't think a line has been crossed, and I think I'm going to change my opinion. I think Canada are not going to go with the US. I think what has happened since I did that previous reading, yeah, done. See you later. And I think actually it's going to sound really bizarre, but the last straw was Besant. Yep, the government. This is the Canadian government viewing things differently and prepared to sacrifice. So I think you are compelled to take the initial shipment because they've already been pretty much paid for and there was agreement. But anything after that, no. Prepared to sacrifice. And I think the last straw was Besant. I mean, it sounds stupid because it makes it sound petty, but the Canadian government has to take the best strategy for them and taking action with the truth and with authority and reality. So, Besant in the Oval Office saying that it's almost like that was the absolute last. There's this whole pile of straw, and this was just the last one that got put on top. Was Besant claiming on the media outlet that Carney had called the Orange Twerp and claimed that Carney apologised and backpedaled on what he had said at Davos, etc. Well, Carney came out and said, no, he didn't. No. So it's just it's just lie upon lie upon lie, and unnecessary lie upon lie. So we've got this Page of Swords, this new reality being brought forward, turning into a nightmare for the US. Now, my next question, and that's what this card is from, the Orange Twerp is threatening to invade Canada. What is happening there? What will happen there? Can't see it happening. NATO country. Let's have a look. Oh, he's threatening. He's threatening, but he's going to be faced with a harsh truth. So the Orange Twerp is threatening to invade Canada. Right. Deals, plans done behind the deals. Oh, okay, thank you. This is about the money that was involved in the losing of this fighter jet deal. So you've got these two well-fed figures here dictating to this one what this one should be doing. This is what was. So you've got and I think this is the regime, and whoever owns that portion of the military that builds those fighter jets. However, this figure up here has the money. They are working for, they've got the money and they're doing the work. So I do apologize if I'm not making sense with that, but I think what it is that these two fat cats trying to dictate to this younger energy what to do with their money. Now, this younger energy can put down his chisel and hammer and pocket his money and walk out. But these fat cats they're trying to dictate. Right. There's that Ace of Swords again. A harsh truth presenting. There may be some rash action this sort of truth. This can be a new strategy. This can be a new declaration. There might be a rash order that comes down. Do not be surprised. Because of those that have feathered their nest, a harsh truth, delusion, three aces, new beginning, huge new beginning energy here. So this is the delusion of dictating, but it's new energy. Three aces. Ace is also telling me that what I'm saying is right. There might be some demands by those who, as the reality bites, by those who have profited off the military enterprise in the past. There's the devil. There's the trade deals, but looking away from the devil. Ten of Swords. No. Okay. So I'm asking about the threat. I get that he wants to. There's this delusion that they can do whatever they like, but it's not going to end well. Loss, disappointment, heartbreak, betrayal, and the Tower. Oh boy. Volatile information coming forward, secrets, the ending of the Emperor and his government as they are out in the cold, and there is the last ace and a big awakening. coming forward, a lot of information coming out for the voters. Endings and beginnings. There's going to be a lot of saber rattling, just threats, because those that make money have lost the deal. Don't think they're going to invade. I think it's going to end up in this energy for the administration. But there will be blustering and threats. Just like in the Middle East at the moment, with the fleet demanding that Iran make some sort of nuclear deal. That wasn't why they were sent there. The military's going to be going, hang on, that's not why we were told we were going. If they attack Iran, you could probably wipe Israel off the map. Just putting it out there. And this is a huge, huge klaxon wake-up call. For those that still don't get it, it's a huge wake-up call. Okay, that'll probably do for the moment. Interestingly enough, I just want to mention, apparently the original passenger list for the plane in Maine, apparently there were 8 on the original list. They've not all been, the 6 have not all been named from what I understand, which is really unusual. And I'd be quite interested to, apparently they were presenting cases, the company, against Amazon warehouse for the employees and SpaceX for the employees. There was some litigation that was happening there. Apparently the company was also anti-felon and anti, all the rest of it that goes with it. So, yeah, there's something that smells quite fishy there. Okay, I'm going to leave that there and catch you shortly. Interesting times that we live in. Okay, talk to you in a moment.